Imagine this, an AI system that doesn't just follow your commands, but can set its own goals, make decisions, and take action, all without waiting for you. It sounds futuristic, almost like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But here's the thing, it's not science fiction anymore. This is the world of agentic AI, and while it's exciting, it also raises some incredibly important questions. Questions like, who's responsible if something goes wrong? How do we ensure these systems align with our values? And most importantly, how do we govern them responsibly? Today, we're going to explore agentic AI governance, what it is, why it matters, and how we can navigate this new frontier responsibly. Whether you're an AI enthusiast, a tech professional, or just curious about where technology is headed, this video is for you. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's dive into the fascinating world of agentic AI. All right, let's start with the basics. What exactly is agentic AI? The term agentic comes from the word agent, which essentially means something that acts on behalf of someone or something else. In the context of artificial intelligence, agentic AI refers to systems that can operate autonomously. These systems don't just respond to commands, they can plan their own actions, execute tasks independently, and even adapt based on feedback. Let me give you an example to make this clear. Think about a traditional AI system like a calculator. You input numbers, it gives you the result. It's reactive, it only does what you tell it to do. Now imagine a personal assistant like Alexa or Google Assistant. These systems are slightly more advanced. They can handle multiple commands and even predict what you might need next based on your habits. But they're still not truly autonomous. Agentic AI takes things a step further. Imagine an AI system managing your entire schedule without you having to micromanage it. It identifies conflicts in your calendar, reschedules meetings based on priority levels, and even books flights or hotels autonomously if it notices you have upcoming travel plans. That's what we mean by agentic. It acts independently within a set of predefined rules. Now here's where things get interesting and challenging. With great autonomy comes great responsibility. These systems are incredibly powerful but also introduce new risks and complexities that we've never faced before. Before we dive deeper into how we govern these systems, let's clear up some common misconceptions about agentic AI, because there are quite a few out there. Misconception number 1, agentic AI will become sentient and take over humanity. Look, I get why people think this. It's a narrative we've seen in countless movies and books, but it's simply not true. While these systems are incredibly advanced, they're still bound by their programming and governance frameworks. They don't have desires or intentions like humans do, but rather computational constructs designed to achieve specific tasks efficiently. Misconception number 2, we can just unplug the system if something goes wrong. This one sounds logical at first glance, but gets tricky when you dig deeper. Many of these systems are deeply integrated into our infrastructure. Think healthcare diagnostics tools or autonomous supply chain managers. Simply pulling the plug could cause widespread disruptions. And misconception number 3, agentic AI will replace humans entirely. While it's true that these systems can handle tasks autonomously, they're not here to replace us. They're here to augment us. The goal is to create partnerships between humans and machines where each complements the other's strengths. All right, now that we've cleared up some misconceptions, let's talk about the ecosystem of agentic AI. This is one of the most important things to understand when discussing governance because agentic AI isn't just one entity. It's part of a much larger system involving multiple stakeholders. Let me break it down for you as reflected in the white paper titled Practices for Governing Agentic AI System S, attached in the video description below if you wish to learn more or read it in detail. In the agentic AI ecosystem, there are 3 main players. First, we have model developers. These are the engineers and researchers who create the AI's core capabilities. They're responsible for designing the algorithms, training the models, and essentially building the brain of the system. Their decisions, like what data to use for training, can have a huge impact on how the AI behaves. Next, we have system deployers. These are the teams or organizations that take the AI model and turn it into a real-world application. For example, they might integrate an AI model into a customer service chatbot or a supply chain management tool. Deployers often customize the model to fit specific needs, which adds another layer of complexity to governance. Finally, we have users. And yes, that includes you and me. Whether it's an individual using an AI-powered assistant or a company relying on autonomous systems to manage operations, users play a critical role in how these systems are utilized. Now here's where things get tricky. These roles aren't always separate. Sometimes one company handles everything, from development to deployment to user interaction. Other times, it's a collaborative effort involving multiple organizations. And when something goes wrong, figuring out who's responsible can be like untangling a web. Let me give you an analogy to make this clearer. Think of agentic AI as a car. The model developers are like the engineers who design the engine. They decide how powerful it is and how efficiently it runs. The system deployers are like the manufacturers who assemble the car and add features like airbags or GPS navigation. And the users? Well, they're the drivers who decide where to go and how fast to drive. If there's an accident, who's responsible? Is it the engineer who designed a faulty engine? The manufacturer who didn't install proper safety features? Or the driver who was speeding? This is exactly why governance frameworks need to account for all 3 roles. Let's make this even more tangible by looking at some real-world examples of agentic AI in action. Example 1, healthcare diagnostics. Imagine an autonomous system that analyzes medical scans to detect diseases like cancer or heart conditions. These systems can process thousands of images in seconds, far faster than any human doctor. But here's the challenge. If the system makes an incorrect diagnosis, who's accountable? The developer, the hospital deploying it, or the doctor relying on its results? Example 2. Supply chain optimization agentic AI systems to manage logistics and inventory in real time. These systems can predict demand spikes, reroute shipments based on weather conditions, and even negotiate with suppliers autonomously. But what happens if these decisions lead to unethical practices, like exploiting workers or harming the environment? Example 3. Autonomous customer service bots. These bots can handle complex queries without human intervention, everything from processing refunds to troubleshooting technical issues. They're efficient and cost-effective, but they also raise questions about transparency and fairness. For instance, how do we ensure these bots treat all customers equally? These examples highlight both the incredible potential of agentic AI and the challenges that come with governing such systems. Now let's dive into what I think is one of the most important parts of this white paper, the 7 key practices for governing agentic AI responsibly as suggested in Practices for Governing Agentic AI Systems. These practices were outlined in the white paper, but have also been expanded upon by experts across industries. Practice 1. Evaluate suitability. This means asking yourself whether agentic AI is really the best tool for the job at hand. Just because you can automate something doesn't mean you should. Practice 2. Constrain action space and require approval. Set clear boundaries on what the AI can and cannot do. Think of this as giving it rules to follow so it doesn't overstep its authority. Practice 3. Set default behaviors. Establish basic principles that guide how the AI acts in common situations, like prioritizing safety over efficiency. Practice 4. Ensure legibility. Make sure you can understand what the AI is doing and why it made certain decisions. Transparency is key here. Practice 5. Implement automatic monitoring. Think of this as a health check for your AI system, flagging unusual behavior before it becomes problematic. Practice 6. Establish attributability. If something goes wrong, you need to know who's responsible, whether it's developers, deployers, or users. Practice 7. Maintain interruptibility. Always have an off switch or manual override so humans can take back control if necessary. These practices aren't just theoretical. They're being implemented right now by leading tech companies and research labs worldwide. Let's address some of the biggest ethical challenges head on, because governance isn't just about technical rules. It's also about values. Challenge 1. Bias in decision-making. How do we ensure these systems don't perpetuate or amplify existing biases? For example, if an AI is trained on biased data, its decisions will reflect those biases. Challenge 2. Accountability gaps. Who takes responsibility when an autonomous system makes a mistake? This is especially tricky when multiple stakeholders are involved. Challenge 3. Public trust. How do we build trust in these technologies while addressing legitimate concerns? Transparency and education are key here. Now that we've covered the theoretical aspects, let's look at some real-world theoretical cases that illustrate both the challenges and successes in AI governance. Case Study 1. The AI Hiring Assistant. A large tech company develops an AI system to streamline their hiring process. Initially, it seems to be working well, significantly reducing the time to hire. However, after a few months, they notice the system is disproportionately rejecting female candidates for technical roles. Upon investigation, they find that the AI has been trained on historical hiring data, which reflects past biases in the industry. This case illustrates the importance of the evaluate suitability practice. The company since implements rigorous bias testing and goes on to use the AI as a supplement to, rather than a replacement for, human decision-making in hiring, or takes time to ensure the training data is tweaked to reduce bias. Case Study 2. The Autonomous Trading Algorithm. A financial firm develops an agentic AI system for high-frequency trading. The system is incredibly efficient, making thousands of trades per second. However, during a market volatility event, the AI makes a series of trades that, while technically profitable, are deemed manipulative by regulatory authorities. This case highlights the need for the constraining action space practice. The firm goes on to implement stricter boundaries on the AI's trading capabilities and introduces human oversight for large or unusual trades. They also work with regulators to develop industry-wide standards for AI in financial trading. These theoretical case studies, though some have already happened as showcased in the documentary Coded Bias, which follows MIT Media Lab researcher Joy Buolamwini as she discovers that facial recognition technologies misclassify women and darker-skinned faces, show us that governing agentic AI isn't just about preventing catastrophic failures. It's about creating systems that are ethical, transparent, and aligned with human values. So, where do we go from here? The field of agentic AI is evolving rapidly, and our governance models need to keep pace. Let me share some exciting developments and potential future directions. First, we're seeing a move towards explainable AI, or XAI. This is about making AI systems that can explain their decisions in ways humans can understand. Imagine an AI that doesn't just tell you what to do, but can articulate why it made that recommendation. This aligns with our ensure legibility practice and could be a game changer for building trust in AI systems. Second, there's growing interest in AI ethics by design. This approach integrates ethical considerations into the AI development process from the very beginning, rather than treating them as an afterthought. It's like building a house with safety features already incorporated, rather than trying to add them later. Third, we're seeing the emergence of AI auditing firms. These are independent organizations that assess AI systems for bias, safety, and ethical behavior. Think of them as the AI equivalent of financial auditors. Fourth, there's increasing collaboration between tech companies, policymakers, and academics to develop global standards for AI governance. This is crucial because AI doesn't respect national boundaries. We need international cooperation to govern it effectively. Lastly, we're seeing a shift towards more participatory approaches to AI governance. This means involving diverse stakeholders, including the public, in decisions about how AI systems should be developed and deployed. After all, these systems affect all of us, so we should all have a say in how they're governed. The future of agentic AI governance is not just about creating more rules. It's about fostering a culture of responsibility and ethics in the tech industry. It's about educating the public so they can make informed decisions about AI. And it's about creating systems that augment human capabilities while respecting human values. We've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding what agentic AI is, to exploring its ecosystem, examining real-world examples, discussing governance practices, and looking towards the future. So, what's the key takeaway? Agentic AI has the potential to revolutionize industries, solve complex problems, and improve our lives in countless ways. But with great power comes great responsibility. Governing these systems isn't just a technical challenge. It's a societal one that requires input from all of us. So here's my call to action for you. Stay informed, get involved, demand transparency and accountability from the companies developing and deploying AI systems. And lastly, if you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button and share it with others. The more people understand about agentic AI and its governance, the better equipped we'll be to harness its benefits while mitigating its risks.